For Sentinel.com, this is Ira Winderman with your latest Ask Ira Miami Heat mailbag. Our first question comes from Aura, who reflected on one of our previous pieces and says you trade Goran Dragic because he's not a top 10 point guard. Plus, Russell Westbrook is the main target next summer. Okay, I'm glad it was phrased this way and asked this way for this reason. I think it's time to move beyond the Heat is going to get the best possible free agent storyline every year. We saw how it played out this past season with Kevin Durant. Yes, the Heat were finalists, but unless you land the player, that part doesn't really matter. And I think there has to be a more realistic approach, whether it's with Westbrook or other players, that you have to build incrementally. It came together once with Bosh and LeBron and Dwayne Wade, but that really is the exception in the NBA. What you want is a growth curve that continues upward. And if you keep looking in just one direction and saying it's going to be this one player, make or break, I think that's where you get in trouble. And I think Heat management, to a degree, maybe went too all in with the Kevin Durant approach, the way it was leaked, that they still were interested in him, that they still had a strong chance to get him. I think you work with what you have. If something comes up at the end of the game, fine. Otherwise, I think you have to have realistic expectations and not make every summer that we're going to get the best available free agent, even if that is the desire. Second question comes from Angel, who says, Ira, you keep referring to others as being youthful, but the last time I checked, Dion Waiters is only 24. It seems like you're more concerned that he could bolt after 1 year, but the Heat could develop into something special, similar to what they did to Hassan Whiteside. Angel, there's a little bit of a difference. Hassan Whiteside was with the Heat organization for 2 years. There was a feeling he knew what they were, they knew what he was, there was a working relationship. I'm not sure you can get that on a player basically on a 1-year deal with a player option for the second year. The only thing I'm saying is, look, the Dion Waiters acquisition was fine, and for the money at $2.9 million was a good idea. He just can't get in the way of the growth of players you know will be around for a while. And I include Josh Richardson in that group only because the Heat will wind up with his bird rights by the time he becomes a free agent. So if it works with Dion Waiters, terrific. As long as it doesn't work other players out of the way that the Heat have under longer-term contracts. Speaking of those players, our third question today comes from Matt, who asks, I believe every team in the league, even the cellar dwellers, have a small forward who can shoot the ball, excluding the Heat, unless Justise Winslow miraculously finds a stroke over the next several months. Look, Matt, I agree. You cannot have a small forward in the NBA who can't shoot, but let's be honest. You can't have a player at any position in today's NBA who can't shoot. So Justise needs to develop that shot. Remember, the Heat have an October 31st deadline for his third-year option. They will, of course, pick that up. But then it gets into critical mass, an extension, a longer-term deal. Treat him as a star player or not. That's why it would be so much more comforting, Matt, I agree, if you knew that Justise had an outside shot going forward. Those are today's 3 questions. We'll be back tomorrow with 3 more. For SunSentinel.com, I'm Ira Winderman.